Hi, students. I hope you're having a lovely Thursday. All right, going over the study guide for this unit. This is our Civil Rights and Liberties unit, which in the end kind of is more of should just be called the Supreme Court case unit, right? Our last unit, we'll finish it up in about 2 weeks, then it's review mode. So, Learning Target 1 is mostly reading. It's kind of stuff you already know, talking about the judicial branch's role in policy that deals with civil rights and civil liberties. You can read all that here. This will kind of happen. I'm not going to teach these specifically, but you'll figure it out, especially through the reading guide and that sort of a thing. The rest of this is responsible on your reading guide, which you'll pick up later in class. Learning Target 2, then, we get into the heavy lifting here. I don't think it's going to be that tough of a unit. We're going to do a really good job of teaching and learning it, and we'll know all this stuff, but it's a lot to learn. So we've got to work hard at it. We're analyzing Supreme Court cases that impacted First Amendment rights and restrictions. And then First Amendment is pretty complicated. So we'll start out with some vocab and cases dealing with freedom of speech. Then we move on to freedom of the press, freedom of assembly and association, and then freedom of religion. Some of these you've heard before, some not. So we'll start that next week. Then we'll move on to Learning Target 3, which is where we talk about rights of the accused, the definition of cruel and unusual punishment, and the right to privacy. We start out with rights of the accused, and move on to cruel and unusual punishment, and then rights of privacy. And we've just got a bunch of Supreme Court cases for each one of those. Learning Target 4 is a big one. On your test, you'll see most of the questions will be for Learning Target 4. And this deals with civil rights as opposed to civil liberties. You'll learn the difference between those two today. Most of the time we're talking civil rights, we're talking race. So we're going to be talking a lot of acts and cases about civil rights of African Americans. Then we'll move on to a little bit about civil rights of women, some acts and mostly just acts there, not a lot of Supreme Court cases. And then we'll talk about a few other major civil rights acts like age when it comes to voting. You should know this one, right? And this act right here. And then a little bit of disabilities as well. The last learning target, which we're actually going to start with today, I just figured that this is a nice short little learning target that we could knock out in one day as a flipped lesson, which is why we're going to kind of start at the back. We're going to get rid of Learning Target 5 today, and then we'll move up to Learning Target 1 next week. So you're going to be working on Learning Target 5 today, and we'll talk more about that later. So I'm gone today. I just ran you through the study guide. After this, I'm kind of bouncing around here. You're going to take a spiral quiz. Then you're going to complete an ed puzzle. So that'll take you a little bit of time. After you get the spiral quiz and the ed puzzle done, go up to the front table where you will see a Unit 5 reading guide. Grab that right away. And then the Learning Target 5 slides, grab those right away. Go back, watch the Learning Target 5 flip lesson, then take a practice quiz after you've done the lesson. Don't use your slides. Try not to cheat. See what you know. Just like we would in class if I was there teaching you. Then here comes the difficult stuff, and you can probably start figuring this out right now if you want, as soon as you're done watching this video. Partner up. So we've got 12 kids. Abel's not there today. We're going to have 6 groups of 2. You figure out what those groups are going to be. Somebody's going to go with Abel. He's not there today, so you're going to be kind of working on your own for the second part of this. But basically, partner up into 6 groups, and that will be we'll be working with those groups throughout this whole unit. Then what you're also going to do, and I'll explain more of this later, is out of the 6 court cases that are on your Learning Target 5 slides that you're going to pick up later on, divide those up amongst the 6 groups. So each pair is assigned to one, and then you're going to create a Google drawing, which I'll talk more about later. Actually, I'm going to talk about that right now. I've shared a file with you, or a folder, AP/Gov Unit 6 Google Drawings. For each court case we cover, you and your partner are going to create a Google drawing. I have guidelines here in that shared folder, which you should have access to. Check your email if you're having trouble finding it, or talk to your neighbors. I'm sure somebody knows how to find that. I don't have to read you through all this. You can figure that out. So you're going to learn about those court cases. You're going to take the quiz. Then later on, you're going to choose one of those court cases for you and your partner and divide them up amongst the class. So each group of partners is doing one of the court cases. and whichever one you and your partner end up with, work together, share the document, and create a fancy-dancy Google drawing that follows all these guidelines here. So that's all I got for you for now. So get to work. Spiral quiz first, then the Ed puzzle, and everything else is listed on this email that you've already seen and have utilized to see this very video. I'll be talking at you a little bit more in a little bit with the LT5 flip lesson, but for now, complete the Civil Rights and Liberties Ed puzzle and Spiral Quiz 13.